Hey, what's up, everybody? Championship Leadership Podcast. I'm excited. I got Pat McNamara here today with TMAC, which stands for Training, Marksmanship, Concepts, and Security. And he's a former U.S. Army veteran for 22 years. And I just appreciate you taking some time out of your day to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Coach, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to ask this to kind of kick the conversation off. The name of the podcast is Championship Leadership. So what comes to mind for you, or what does championship leadership mean to you when you hear that?
I'll tell you the truth, I've never thought about it, but I can start thinking about it right now.
Perfect.
Championship leadership. Leadership is defined in so many different ways, and there's so many different facets to it. I would say that, championship leadership would be, the pinnacle of leadership. And once again, how it's defined is pretty loose-based.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to emulate somebody else's style. You need to be your own person whenever you're in a leadership position. It requires that you're the right person who's going to say the right thing to the right person at the right time. You've got to know what to say, but more importantly, know what not to say. I think that's a big one because too many are too eager to say too much. So if you know what not to say and when not to say it, that's just equally important as knowing what to say. Keeping your mouth shut is a good thing. Allowing people you're coaching to or leading to explore and make errors. And when they do make errors, you have to accept. They have to accept that failing is a biological requirement. We need to fail. So leaders have to give whoever they're coaching that chance to fail, but then coach them through the right way to ensure that that doesn't happen again, because we don't want failing to be a recurring theme. When we fail, we need to learn from the past, prepare for the future, and perform in the present.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I was just talking today with a different gentleman, and kind of the similar concept of like talk less, listen more, and and then of course, the piece of just knowing what to say and when to say it, and to carry that impact. I think no matter where you go, there's definitely people that like to talk and want to be heard, but the championship leaders, they definitely have those characteristics that you talk about.
Yeah, no doubt. They have the ability to know when to dish out slack and know when to pull in the reins. And it's real important. I'm not saying you've got to be lax, but then again, you can't be in a leadership role. You can't be a dictator either.
Yeah,
you got to find that good middle ground that allows whoever you're coaching, whoever you're leading, to learn on his own behalf. Because the thing is, when you're leading somebody, and if you're saying too much, you're turning whoever you're leading into a recipient of basically of like welfare. You're putting them on an entitlement program, and they're going to want you. They're going to expect that. They are now waiting for more and more handout. So you can't put them on that entitlement program. You've got to allow room for discovery learning, and you've also got to give permission for expeditionary mindset.
Yeah. If you could tell us a little bit about you, maybe a little bit of your story, your background, how that's kind of laid into what you're doing today. You got TMAC. I love following you on Instagram, like the basic dude stuff, videos that you do, and just everything that you're all about. Like, give us a little background there.
Right on. Yeah. Thanks for that. The basic dude stuff is rocking.
It's phenomenal.
It's going crazy. It is turning like viral. So
yeah.
I've got to get with a trademark attorney.
Yeah, absolutely.
Soon.
Yeah.
But I did 22. I grew up in Connecticut, so it was snowing a lot where I lived too. I joined the Army in 1983, went straight into special ops, went to the Special Forces course in 1984, and I continued on a long career of special operations. Had a lot of very cool special ops jobs. My last 13 years, I was in a Tier 1 unit in USASOC, and I retired in '05. And since '05, I've been in the basically the coaching business, where I teach badassery. I teach fighting, shooting, combat strength training, close quarter battle, those kind of things. So I've been under my own banner of TMAC since 2010, and I work all over the country doing a variety of different courses.
Yeah, great. Love it. What who are some of the championship leaders that you might have crossed paths with? You know, I'm sure there's a number of them through your military experience, but you know, maybe it's outside of the military as well, but just maybe it's less really about the people, who they are, but like what was it about them, the characteristics, the traits that they had that really separated themselves, and then maybe what are some of those that you've taken that have helped kind of mold shape you as the championship leader you are?
I think I had several in the Army. You know, coming in as a young guy into special ops, I was in the minority. Most guys in special ops are a little more senior. They're seasoned. They've been around. So without those mentors, there's no way I would have made it on my own. There's no way. So I had a bunch of championship leaders early on in my career, and then I continued to have them throughout my career, and then even a couple more as I retired. And a couple things they all had in common were I wanted to emulate them. You know, I wanted to be like them. That was a big one. I wanted to do, not necessarily shadow their every move or be a replica, but I wanted to emulate something about them, whether it was their physical prowess, their ability to plan, their gift of oratory, or their leadership style. I wanted to emulate that component of that person. You know, it was very admirable. They were also very humble and extremely skilled. I mean, extremely skilled at being humble is one thing, but when you're extremely skilled in being humble is another. I mean, being humble is it's not hard if you've got no skills.
Yeah.
but when you're top in a field in some kind of skill, and you're working in a peer group that are performing the same type of craft, and you're at the tip of that sword, it's admirable to be humble, and it resonates. You know, it resonates well with those with whom you are working. So I've had so many of them I can't count.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, dozens. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and no surprise, especially I think often, when I think special operators, you just think elite, and you think championship leaders. There's going to be a number of them that you're going to cross paths with. I'm sure there's a fair dose of not so championship leaders even at that level as well, but they're probably just but yeah, just kind of almost just assumed that would be the case.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How do talk? I know again, kind of watching some of your videos and checking out what you're up to and what you do, and teaching the 16-year-old how to change the tire. Like, how do you take some of the things that you've learned from that experience inside of the military and what you did? Of course, you've carried that into a business now that you do outside of it. But yeah, at home, like as a parent, it's a big responsibility. And how do you take some of that, put that into what you do and show up as a parent?
Well, you know what, the biggest one is displaying work ethic. I think that's huge. because not everybody's got that, you know. We had a mantra in the unit where I was. It got told to me day one when I got there: never be late, light, or out of uniform. And that could apply to anybody in any job. You know, late is obvious, right?
No.
So if you're not, to me, if I'm not early, I'm late. I'm usually an hour early to something.
Yeah.
And I tell people, if I'm late, please come and look for me because I'm probably dead somewhere.
Yeah.
Being light means, you know, not having the recommended gear that is supposed to be on you whenever you show up to, whether it's an office job or whether it's to the range. You know, not having your briefcase, not having your gun box, you know, not having all the components that go into either one of them. And our uniform, obvious, right? It could be as simple as being well groomed. It doesn't mean that, you know, I am in a uniform like everybody else, but what I am going to wear when I go to a training venue is it's acceptable in appearance. I'm groomed. I've brushed my freaking teeth. I've shaved my face, and my clothes fit well, and I've got everything in my pockets that I need to have. So that's a big one. That never be late, light, or out of uniform, and then which goes along with that work ethic. So that's a very easy one for me to bring into this world and into the parenting world. The other one into the parenting world is that level of patience and the ability to communicate. Because I have Generation Z kids, you know, are 16 and 18.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate that not only I could be their dad, but I could be their buddy too.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. So it's a really good feeling to know that your kids trust you.
Yeah.
Especially at that age, 16 and 18.
Yeah.
You know, they trust me and they know that if they've got an issue, hey, bring it to me. Bring it to me. Don't let it fester. Don't stick it in a drawer somewhere. We'll figure it out, you know, and if you effed up, I'll try to help you get out of that bad situation. But damn, don't let it happen again. And the other thing is I could draw from, you know, real world experience. Like, man, I did that when I was a kid, and let me tell you what happened because of that. Without going into, you know, some kind of boring lecture-y type of anecdote, I could still relate to a kid. You know, I guess because I'm not letting the old man in. So I can still relate. Yeah, I can still relate to them. And I've taken a lot of that from, you know, military leadership as well. You know, listening and knowing that everybody needs a different style of leadership and mentorship because all people are different. So they all need to be approached differently. I can't talk to my son the same way I can talk to my daughter. When they're together, our conversations are, you know, they're generic and fun and stuff like that. But if there's anything serious, I need to talk to them completely different wavelengths.
Yeah.
You know, and I totally get that. So, yeah, I was able to take a lot of just lessons learned from the military and able to apply it to my life now.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's definitely I don't know. I think it's probably not easy for some to do, to make that transition, you know, to take some of that into, you know, especially into the home and into relationships on a personal level. But it's so important, such a great skill to be able to do that, to take some of those lessons from all the different experiences that you've had and to be able to do that in different environments. Right. Yeah. What's a big vision for you? Like, for what you're doing now, you know, outside of the military and continuing with TMAC, and I see you doing all the unconventional type like training that you do, and that's fun to see too, the stuff that you're making up, and
man.
Like what's a big vision, like impact? What do you want to do? What are you looking to accomplish over maybe the next 5 years?
One of the things that, because I've been doing it, and I don't know how I've been awarded this position as like head motivating coach, but for some reason I've been, like awarded a position of motivator and somebody who people look up to, and as long as I can inspire people to be the best version of themselves, that's what I want to continue to do.
Yeah.
There ain't a lot of money in that now.
Yeah.
Because it's not a monetized thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I want to do more. I want to do more of that because it's very fulfilling. So I work. I've been doing 4 courses a month for the past 7 years.
Wow.
And it's been wearing me down.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So I'm gone more than half the year. Next year I'm dialing back. I'm only going to do 2 courses a month, a lot more private training. Excuse me. I'm going to focus more on the combat strength training because that's another business of mine. And the amount of people I am able to touch and assist in them making positive lifestyle changes has been astronomical, because it's a system I developed that is performance-based driven versus outcome-based driven, and it recognizes that we all perform differently. The performance can be measured by doing what we can, what we have. So I'm going to focus more on that, and that system becomes more acceptable to a larger demographic the older I get. Because if I could stay fit at my age and coach guys half my age, then I know my system works well. So I'm going to do more of that. I'm going to do more of just online coaching and mentoring. Tell you the truth, I want to enjoy a little bit of time off, because I've had no time off. I've had very, very little time off in the past several years. I worked 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And initially it wasn't that bad, but and it's wearing on me. And I've got a lot of hobbies, and I want to dive back into those. And some of those, I could share with people. I could do, online clinics, give them a knuckle dragger version of, digital photography or playing music or drawing or something like that. Because coming from somebody like me, I think it would be more palatable to more people, and more guys would pick up the sissy hobbies I have, like bird watching and crap like that, if they knew that I did it. So, and I can make a hobby like that pretty cool. Yeah. And not lame. So yeah, I'm hoping to exploit more of this, the interweb,
Yeah, totally. I love it. Well, you talk about kind of being awarded that like lead motivator, and it's just because it's like super genuine and super real. Like you can just tell them like who you are, and I don't.
That's what my wife says. My wife says that. I tell her all the time. I get letters. The amount of texts and IG messages, Facebook messages, emails I get a day would inundate most people. I've learned how to, kind of not compartmentalize it, but systematically chip away at those.
Yeah.
And I tell my wife all the time, I have why are these people looking up to me? I have no idea what I'm doing. She goes, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's it. Totally. Don't put any thought into it. Just keep doing that right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So like I said, it's very fulfilling knowing that that one person is able to positively influence so many.
Yeah.
With a medium like social media. So there's a lot of crap out there on social media. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of junk. There's stuff I'll watch and I can feel brain cells dying as I'm watching it. I can feel myself getting hypoxic. There's so much crap out there.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I love it when people do something positive with the interweb.
Yeah. 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 And it's an incredible time. Like you said, just to that point. I mean, what's a bit like Instagram and just the reach that you can have and the impact that you can make. It's amazing. And a lot of people, like, yeah, to your point too, they waste it, like with some of the stuff that's put out there, the content. So it's awesome for me when I run across people like yourself that are doing what you're doing. So appreciate that. Keep it up for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, because positivity resonates positivity,
Yeah.
and the opposite applies too.
Yeah.
You know, negativity will do the same thing. It's contagious. And generally, what I've noticed is people who put out a lot of negative crap, they're probably unhappy themselves.
Yeah.
So me, I'm the opposite. I am elated to be alive and on this planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I am, just besides myself that I'm able to do what I can do today and lead the life that I am living. So, all my messages just extremely positive.
Yeah. Yeah. What's I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to ask you this question. Like, what's a critical moment or maybe a turning point that you've had in your life, like just a big moment where had you not made the decision that you had made, you'd be in a very different place. Like, but because I think championship leaders, they're willing to make these courageous decisions in tough moments. That
Yep.
doesn't have them where they are, but they could have very easily went the other way and they didn't. Like, is there a moment that's sticking out to your mind?
Well, a big one was I had a couple Cold War jobs in Soviet East Germany.
Yeah.
When the Cold War started drying up, I was thinking, where do I go from here? Because this is pretty freaking cool, man. I mean, where does one go from this?
Yeah.
So I had to make that critical decision right then and there to put in my paperwork to go to selection for the unit at Fort Bragg, and that was life changing. Had I not done that, man, I mean, my life could have been dead ended. It was a hard call, and I knew that there was a massive risk because the attrition rate is gigantic. It's enormous. So it's not like I'm just gonna change career paths.
Yeah.
This is something I need to really work for. I need to really earn this. Nobody's giving this shit to me. Nobody is. So I actually volunteered for a shitty assignment at Fort Bragg from Germany just to get me closer to Fort Bragg so I could train and then go to the selection process.
Oh,
Had
wow.
I not made it, I would have been stuck in that shitty job for 4 more years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a major risk. It was but that was a big one. That was huge. One of the biggest ones that just comes to mind.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate it. What's one or two things that you could share with the folks as we do wrap up here that they could they could take and like just implement in their life today and would help them move forward?
There's a couple. I have a lot of mantras. Some of them I invented. Some of them I use from other people. But I like daily mantras. So I've got a bunch of things that they could do. One is always think about trying to improve yourself, your being. And I'm talking incremental improvements. See, we just passed the new year. People make resolutions, and they're always grandiose. And nobody sticks with those freaking things. They just shit can them a couple weeks into their resolution because they're not resolute. Because the resolution is too grandiose. So they need to think about making incremental improvements. And when it comes to incremental improvements, think about this. If you cloned yourself yesterday, can you kick your clone's ass tomorrow? So that's one of mine that I made. Another mantra that people you could write it down, and like put it by your bed table or something like that. So you can see it at night and you can wake up to it in the morning. Jerry Rice, 90s Hall of Famer, had this mantra, and I freaking love it. Said, I mean, because he was self-driven. He was self-governed,
Yeah.
self-driven.
Yeah.
Nobody told him every day, you work your ass off. He was very, very, very self-driven, which a lot of pro athletes, pro performers in any skill set are self-driven if they want to be the best in their field.
Yeah.
So he had this mantra that said, and I love this one: I will do today what others won't, so I can do tomorrow what others can't.
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe and smoke.
Yeah, no doubt. I love that. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Jerry Rice. Yeah, I mean, the best, right? The GOAT.
Yep.
And powerful. Thank you. What's a few ways that we can check out more about you, follow you, and find out like more about your courses and what you got going on?
I am very easily accessible. I have an Instagram with a pretty good following.
Mm-hmm.
It's TMAC Inc. That's TMACSINC. My website is tmacinc.com. I also have combatstrengthtraining.com. And I have my own podcast called University of Badassery.
Awesome.
Co-host that with CJ Ortiz. And then I have a YouTube channel, which is a blast. That's the Pac Namara YouTube channel. So those are the big ones right there.
Yeah, perfect. We'll get those linked up so that everybody can access those. What about a book? You got a book out yet or what?
I've got several, but they're all instructional or educational. I've got, I wrote TAPS, Tactical Application of Practical Shooting. I wrote Sentinel, How to Be the Agent in Charge of Your Own Executive Protection Detail. And I wrote Combat Strength Training. That's an ebook. Okay. And then I've got in the works several other ideas.
Yeah, I bet.
Which 2020, lighter year. That's one of the other things I want to do is write more.
Great. Well, I appreciate you taking some time. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the conversation, and just thankful for you to come on and spend some time with us.
Right on, Coach. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.